Hello, this is Pastor Lorne Richmond, East Denver Bible Baptist Church. Welcome to our broadcast, Lead Me to the Rock. We're talking about salt and light. I want to read to you from Acts chapter 16, beginning with verse number 25. And at midnight Paul and Silas prayed and sang praises unto God, and the prisoners heard them. Suddenly there was a great earthquake, so that the foundations of the prison were shaken, and immediately all the doors were opened, and everyone's bands were loosed. And the keeper of the prison, awaking out of his sleep and seeing the prison doors open, he drew out his sword and would have killed himself, supposing that the prisoners had been fled. But Paul cried with a loud voice, saying, Do thyself no harm, for we all hear. Then he called for a light and sprang in and came trembling and fell down before Paul and Silas and brought them out and said, Sirs, what must I do to be saved? They said, Believe on the Lord Jesus Christ, and thou shalt be saved in the house. What an amazing situation here. Now, we got to understand, first of all, Paul and Silas should have been doing like the most of us, just murmuring and disputing and complaining and moaning and groaning and saying, why are we here? We've tried to serve God and look what it gets us. Look where it gets us. That's what a lot of people do. God didn't work. Give up on Christianity because the last time I prayed and asked God to do something, it didn't happen. So therefore, God must not love me. He must not be real. He's not one that I want to serve faithfully. That's what a lot of people would say. But that's not Paul and Silas here. They're praising God, even though maybe they didn't expect that the situation would get this bad. They're down there probably in the dungeon, very dark and dank, probably some rodents running around, certainly probably didn't have the adequate clothing or warmth with blankets, probably hard dirt or who knows what they were dealing with as far as floor and what the sewage conditions were. Wasn't a very good place to be. And yet they're down there and they're not complaining. When they should have been, they're just singing and praising God. And you know what? They had been faithful in their ministry, even though they were in prison, to the point that the jailer had taken notice. We don't know what they had said or what they had done or preaching or whatever, but somehow he got the message that their faith was real. And he's ready to kill himself when the earthquake happens, when God moves on their behalf. You see, God's timetable is different than ours, but God moves on their behalf and the doors fall off, and now the jailer is responsible for all those prisoners, and he knows they're not going to stay there. And Paul and Silas had such confidence in God, they said, don't worry, everybody's still here. How did they know that? Because they knew that God could do whatever he wanted to. He could move the mountains. He could also make those prisoners stay where they were. He did just exactly that, and immediately this jailer wants to know what he's got to do to get saved. Amazing response. Why? Because they were salt and light, because they let their light so shine among men. The glory went to God. As a result of that, this jailer took him and Paul and Silas to his house, and he was able to lead their whole family to the Lord. And as a result of that, they were all baptized, all because they were salt and light. Help us to be that as well. God bless you and have a wonderful night.